teachers as well as students, all faculty as well as students are all only women. So we have around 42 programs running, and I'm from the Department of Biochemistry, Biotechnology, and Bioinformatics. All the three come under the same department. And my research interest is in cancer biology. And now we in cancer biology also. Now I've started slightly working on this microbiome. So when they approached me, I readily took up this. Though I work with mainly with breast and cervical cancer. This is a very interesting topic as far as, and it is a very upcoming topic field of research nowadays. So I thought I will just share a few ideas with you all. Um, as I'm open to any questions, even during the session or the end of the session. It's okay. You can ask me. So I will move on to the session. Hope my slides are visible. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So as mentioned, today's topic will be role of gut microbiome in health and diseases. So before we move on to gut microbiome, I thought I will just give a small introduction about what is the significance of microbiome and where all the microbiome is present, because microbiome is not only present in the gut, though it is a very important and abundant organisms are found in the gut. So we focus on gut microbiome. It is present through in the entire body system, and it plays a very important role everywhere it is. Okay, so I'm sure all of us are aware. I heard from Rekha ma'am, the audience are from microbiology and life sciences background. So I think all of us are aware what is a microbiome. It is actually collection of microbes, which includes bacteria, fungi, viruses. Mainly we focus, always we talk about bacteria, but some class of fungi as well as viruses are also there, which are actually beneficial organisms that are naturally inside our bodies. Okay, they reside on the inside us. And we are always, when we think about microorganisms, we are under the we have the feeling that they are always causing some harm to us, causing diseases or infections and so on. But beneficial microorganisms are also there inside our body, which plays a very very important role in almost everything which we are going to see in the next 1 hour or so. How they play a very important role in almost all the physiological functions in which our body is involved. Okay. So the largest of this is found, as I told you, though it is found throughout the body, the majority of them are found in the gut, and so we focus mainly on the gut microbiome. What happens actually is that what is the benefit of this microbiome is that they help in the communication of the bacterial species or group of bacteria within the body with the bacteria which lives outside the body. Okay, so that communication takes place, and that is responsible for maintaining the homeostasis and management of threats from the external environment. Because of these beneficial organism only, we are able to overcome the threat which is caused by harmful microorganisms. Okay, so they are play a very very important role in maintaining the health of the human beings. And whenever there is a change in the whenever we are disturbing that environment, it leads to diseases. Okay, and it is called that, so the term is called as dysbiotic flora. So dysbiosis is nothing but you're disturbing the normal microbiome by some means. It may be physical or chemical or due to exposure to some new what to say, type of food or environment, whatever may be the reason, you're disturbing that environment. That disturbance in the normal flora microbiome is called as dysbiosis. Okay, so the dysbiosis, whenever there is an imbalance in this microbiome, especially in the gut, it is responsible for causing lot of diseases. And we also now, a lot of research has actually thrown light upon how this microorganism that are present in the gut actually helps. There is a communication between the gut. Gut is in the inside your gastrointestinal tract. Okay, so the communication between the microbes that are present in your gastrointestinal tract with the other organs plays a very important role. So that is actually called, for example, gut and the lung. Interaction between the microbiome that is present in the gut and the lung, and gut and the skin, and gut and the brain. So this gut brain axis is very very important. It is actually, gut is nowadays they have claimed this as a second brain. Okay, gut is called as a second brain because it directly influences what are all the microflora that are present in the brain. So it is a very important important fact which we have to understand. So which means that gut is connected with all the organs, and the microorganisms that are present here are also are actually responsible for controlling the functions of the entire system. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible,
Yeah, yeah.
ma'am.
Because here actually in our place it is raining heavily, and power is going on and off. So you please let me know in case you're not able to hear me, or if my slide is not visible. Okay, because I am not able to see. I am watching these slides. So in case it is interrupted, you please one of you prompt so that I can check.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. So as I told you, even though we keep talking about the gut microbiome, it is these microbes will have are present throughout the body. They are present on the surface of our skin, on the, for example, on the nose, and everywhere it is present. Microbes are present, and sometimes they cause sickness. As I told you, whenever we are disturbing them, whenever there is a imbalance or dysbiosis, definitely they cause some trouble. But mostly they live in harmony with the human beings, and they are responsible for carrying out very important functions, and in fact they are very much essential for the survival of the human being. So unless we don't disturb them and keep them happy, it is not going to disturb us also. So, usually they say there is a 4R approach, especially in the field of naturopathy, how you can maintain the gut. So, this gut health is very directly related to our immune system. So, whenever there is something is affecting that, the immune system is disturbed. Okay. So, they generally say there are 4 approaches by which you can restore your healthy gut immune barrier, which includes removing the mucosal irritant. So whatever, suppose you're eating some food which is causing some irritant to the mucosa of the stomach lining, that then removing those irritants, replacing agents for digestive support. So you have already disturbed the microbiome. Now you have to replace it with some agents which will help you to provide a good support. Then re-inoculating with a friendly bacteria. So you would have sometimes seen, whenever you have a stomach upset or something, when you visit your doctor, definitely nowadays they prescribe for pre or probiotics. I'm not sure if anybody, if you all have observed, or they are just these microbes in a very very highly concentrated manner. They just, I may just ask you to just take a vial and disperse it in a hot water and then drink. So re-inoculating, this is just you're restoring. You've already disturbed and caused some damage to the organisms. Now your doctor is giving some medicines or probiotics or prebiotics or symbiotics. We will discuss what are they. So to restore your already disturbed bacteria, which are there, and also repairing the mucosal lining. These are the approaches they usually use whenever we disturb the microbiome. So as I told you, though there is gut lung axis, gut is connected with the skin and to all the organs, gut brain axis is very very important. So this side shows how they are, how it helps to keep it healthy, and how this will affect the other what all activities we are doing. Okay, so regular exercise, don't take drugs which will disturb the gut. Then environmental reasons may be there, and mode of delivery. So here also vaginal microbiome microbiome is very, very important. So if the woman delivers by normal delivery, then definitely the vaginal microbiome will contribute much to the microbiome of the newborn baby. Diet definitely influences your microbiome. So whatever you eat is very important, and sometimes genetics also plays an important role. So type of food what you take, very spicy or irritant, then you will kill all the organisms. And we'll be astonished to see that even our mood as well as our behavior, everything is influenced by the microbes which are residing inside us. We will see that there is one class of microbiome which will help make us feel happy, happiness, and even stress. And there are some classes of microbes which will make you which will cause you stress also. Okay, so all this happiness, stress, everything it depends upon. It is really astonishing to see the connection between the microbes as well as our all these emotions. So, as I told you, main locations in the so what even though gut is very important, they reside in almost all the parts of the body. So, the anatomical sites include gastrointestinal tract, skin, mammary glands, seminal fluid, uterus, ovarian follicles, lung, saliva, oral mucosa, and conjunctiva. So, repeatedly, as I'm telling, gut microbiota is the most significant one in helping maintaining our health. So, whenever you take a food which is fermented, rich in microorganisms, then it helps in protecting us from the pathogens by stimulating the immune system as well as stimulating the vitamin production. So, as I told you in the beginning, these microbes belong to the class of bacteria, fungi, as well as viruses. So these are the main bacteria, firmicutes, bifidobacterium, lactobacilli. All these are few bacteria organism. Depending upon the location, whether it is gut or the skin or what, there's a few classes may change. Okay, and fungi, which includes Candida, Saccharomyces, Malassea, and Cladosporium, and viruses also, and phages also. In fact, there is a therapy called as phage therapy, which is used to restore the affected microbiome. Okay, so that is also happening. So that's what I told you here, microbiota in different organs. So you have these are the microbes which are present in your mouth. Okay, oral microbiome, that also again is very, very important, because this oral microbiome has a direct connection with your gut microbiome. So these are the classes of microbes which are present in the mouth. These are the bacteria which, as I told you, lactobacilli, streptococci, enterobacter, firmicutes, or these are the abundant bacteria found in the gut. And vagina contains lactobacilli, which produces lactic acid, which protects the vagina from infection. And similarly, skin has actinobacteria, bacteroidetes, cyanobacteria, firmicutes, and proteobacteria. And the lungs, respiratory system also has these classes. So everywhere, slight changes in the composition of the microbiome is different. So we'll start with the oral microbiota. So as I told you, it is the second largest microbial community in the human, next to gut. Okay, so this actually very, very quickly it undergoes changes, because whenever there is some changes in the pH or mutations or interaction with the bacteria, this oral microbiome changes very quickly, and these are the classes which are usually found in the oral microbiome. Coming to the skin, skin is a defense organ. It will protect pathogens from entering into the body, etc. And it has sebaceous glands which will secrete oil. Then it sweat also, then moisture, and it also has maintains an acidic pH. So whenever there is, when you use antibiotics, or whenever it is when you get hurt, or when there is a burn or something, or when you use some hygiene products and all, you actually alter the microbiome of the skin. That is why they say, just don't keep on putting some chemicals or some cosmetics on the skin. Let the natural microbe which is surviving in your skin, let it survive. Don't disturb them. Similarly, eye also has a lot of microbes that are present. So mainly it is present in the eyelids, medium, and conjunctiva, and they differ slightly in the composition or the diversity of the microorganism. Mainly staphylococcus and propionibacterium are present in the eye. Ear again has these groups of genera of microbiome. Initially, it was suggested that ear does not have, but now they have done full sequencing and profiling study, and they have demonstrated these classes of Proteobacter, Acinetobacter, and Firmicutes, etc., are present in the ear also. And when you come to the nasopharyngeal tract, the upper respiratory tract, tract also has some these classes of microbes like Corynebacteria, Staphylococcus, etc. And then lung. Again, next important one is the lung because it helps in respiration. So the core lung microbiota consists of these genera of bacteria, firmicutes you can see, very common, and proteobacteria. So mainly it is determined by what are the microbes that are present in the lung is determined by three factors. One is microbial immigration from distant site. It has come here, and also it goes from here to the other sites, and elimination of microorganisms. So again here, if you disturb to cause or some external disturbances there, so it is disturbing the normal microbiome. So actually so this all in turn will actually affect the immune response. Okay, so when you're disturbing, then they'll cause their immune response will be affected. So whenever they are in balance, it helps in maintaining the immune homeostasis. So lung microbiome is also very, very important. Then vaginal. So as I told you, vaginal microbiome, again it is very, very important, and it is it is dominated by lactobacillus. So it produces lactic acid, and it has and maintains an acidic pH, thereby preventing some infections happening in the vagina. Okay, so based on, as I told you earlier, based on it was there was an interesting study which we undertook with the gynecology division of Ramakrishna Hospital, where the IVF center wanted us to do some studies on what are the microbes that are present in the mouth of the uterus. Okay, so they were doing actually in vitro fertilization, and they were able to find certain classes of bacteria promoted the implantation of the fertilized ovum into the uterus. So I was really surprised. Only then I started reading about this microbiome, because always before that I used to have an idea that only gut microbiome is important. But you see, this uterine microbiome plays a very important role in implantation of the fertilized ovum in the uterus when they do IVF, and also the day in which this IVF is done after fertilization externally. The day in which the implantation is done also matters. It depends upon the type of bacterium. So I was really surprised to see this small organisms of different classes play very important role even in this process. So vaginal microbiome, again it is very important, as mentioned earlier. During delivery, if the women have normal delivery, then definitely so the baby comes out through the vagina. So the microbiome that is present in the vagina has direct influence on the child, and it helps in maintaining its immune response. So that is also very astonishing, I mean surprising fact. And those women who undergo C-section, they have actually compared normal delivery and C-section, and they found certain bacteria are absent in babies which are got by C-section, but through normal delivery they have a rich microbiota. So they provide apart from protecting urinogenital infections, they give immunity and reproductive capacities to the women. So now we will move on to our topic of interest, which is microbiota of the gastrointestinal tract. So gastrointestinal tract, it includes all the whole entire digestive system, the stomach, intestine, and the cecum. Okay, so this is the largest and most diverse reservoir of all entire microbiome. So from the mouth to the anal cavity, each digestive organ has a specific environment and has specific group of bacteria that are present in this gut. Okay, so the different see the firmicutes, bacteroidetes, proteobacteria, and acinetobacter are present in the esophagus. So it is starting. So once you swallow the food, it passes through the esophagus before it reaches the stomach. So it contains streptococcus and these group of microorganisms. So what when do you say it? gut is healthy. So, intestinal microbial balance is I mean, it is very closely responsible for various diseases as well as health. Okay, so compared with the other regions, as I told you, it is contains a large, abundant microbial community which has around. More than approximately 100 trillion microorganisms. So you can see so many variety of microorganisms are there, and lot of studies are being done on the gut microbiota and how they are influencing the various biological processes in the human being. So when we keep on telling it is a good, it is good, and what is it doing? So it is actually helps for the energy and nutrients. So when you have to during the digestion of the food, it is these microbiota which plays a very important role for production of energy and utilization of energy, and nutrients from the nutrients from the food is also extracted with the help of these bacteria, microorganism which will produce enzymes through biochemical pathways. They help in digestion and absorption, and they are helpful in the synthesis of bioactive molecules like vitamins, amino acids, and lipids. Okay, and also it helps in the development of intestinal mucosa and the immune system. So, as I told you, here it starts from the stomach and throughout the entire digestive tract, different organisms are present. One important thing we have to notice is this important organism called as Helicobacter pylori. This, I think, most of us would have heard. Sorry, most of us would have heard this is a part of the normal flora that is present normally inside our gut. Okay, so it is actually a very good microbe, but it plays a dual role. In some cases, it causes helps in digestion and maintaining gut health. And sometimes, whenever it is triggered, it is called causative agents for gastritis. In fact, gastric cancer is mainly caused by Helicobacter pylori. Okay, so it caused increased abundance of whenever there is an increased abundance of non-Helicobacter bacteria, other classes are there. Whenever that is disturbed, it will cause increased production of other classes of bacteria, which is going to affect the gut health. Okay, so as I told you, sometimes this causes gastritis and gastric cancer, but on the other hand, it reduces the risk of celiac disease, asthma, and esophageal adenocarcinoma. So there are two other conditions which we commonly come across, which is called as a gastroesophageal reflux disease, called as GERD. Many of us are not aware, but nowadays we hear many people, even youngsters, are suffering from this GERD disease, where they are not able to what to say digest. They get it gets some food when once take food, they get irritated, and they're not able to swallow, and they get burning sensation, etc. Everything is mainly because the type of food they choose, they have already spoiled the normal microbiome. So that is why they are able to, it causes regurgitation or acid reflux in the body, and many youngsters now they report of this GERD. And the Barrett's esophagus and these are all in Barrett's esophagus. These are all initial stages that may lead to gastric cancer. Okay, so if we come across any of these conditions, we should be extremely careful to take precautions that we are not again hurting the gut and causing more inflammation, which will lead to cancer. Okay, so that's what persistent GERD progress to Barrett's esophagus, and then it causes esophageal carcinoma. So it causes an increase of these unhealthy organisms which are usually absent in the healthy individual. So these organisms will increase when you're disturbing the normal microbiota. And the small intestine, again, it has a high concentration of microbes which help in production of antimicrobials. Okay, and duodenum also again has these classes. So each part of it contains one or two classes, different genera of the microorganism. Okay, so these are the dominant microbes that are present in the duodenum. Similarly, the jejunum and the ileum. So these are all different parts of the gastrointestinal tract. Okay, so they have different classes, and some of them are common. These firmicutes, when you see Proteobacter, Lactobacillus, all E. coli, all of them are common in almost all the parts of the body. One or two genera will be different. Similarly, ileal microbiota, it contains Streptococcus, E. coli, and Clostridium, and the cecum and the appendix also contains the these. Microbes, and each one has it as its own role. Okay, then when I was discussing in the introduction, I was telling it plays a very important role, but it is because my I am going to just concentrate on the gut microbiome, but I didn't want to deviate too much on other this thing. So one important interesting thing is that there is a class of bacteria I told you which is responsible for causing happiness in us. So you know that whenever serotonin levels are increased, then it has a major influence on the mental health of a person's happiness as well as anger as well as depression. Everything depends upon the microbes. Okay, so the certain microbes they actually produce increase the level of serotonin level is regulated, and because it is regulated by the type of bacteria that is present in the gut during the early life. So if the gut health is good during the early life, then the mental health also is good. Okay, so now they have found out that mental health including personality, mood, anxiety, depression, everything depends upon the bacteria. It is really astonishing and also very hard to believe, but a lot of research, I think if you all are interested you can just go and read on what are the microbes which are whichever is you feel interesting, whichever niche you feel, whether it is oral or this thing which is interesting, you can read on it. So now there is one class called as psychobiotics, where live bacteria in appropriate amounts, like I told you, whenever you have your gut or stomach disturbance, when you have something, eat something, and your indigestion, then your gut health is affected. Similarly, I told you the doctor will give you probiotics or prebiotics which will help you to restore your health. Similarly, you have a class which is called as a psychobiotics, where live bacteria in appropriate amounts will be given so that it will interact with the gut microbiota through the gut brain axis, and it will improve your actually your mood and personality. So that will be mood as well as your personality will be increased by these bacteria. So that helps to improve our health. uh, we are now actually, so we have seen the beneficial effects of this gut microbiota. We will discuss what will actually happen whenever this microbiota is disturbed. Okay, so this slide, and I told you what is dysbiosis also. So when there is a balance in this microbiota, then everything will be fine. So whenever there is a dysbiosis, I told you it is a disturbance in the normal biota. So then you tip tip the balance on the either side. It is not normal. Okay, so you are disturbing it. Normally, whenever a microbiome is normal, then it will produce metabolites, vitamins, and this short chain fatty acids are very very important, and that has to be produced in appropriate amount. And we will see they are actually responsible for causing some of the diseases, especially diabetes. Okay, then interleukin, then TNF alpha. Okay, inflammatory cytokines are also, these are all produced whenever there is a disturbance in the microbiota. So whenever the microbiota is disturbed, you can see it leads to so many diseases like heart disease, hypertension, atherosclerosis, inflammatory bowel disease, IBD it is commonly called. That is also coming up in a way, is very common. IBD is very very common nowadays due to the disturbance of the GI tract only. Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis is an important thing. Then liver diseases, cirrhosis and hepatitis is caused. Then it also causes chronic lung kidney diseases and brain disorders like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and it also causes depression. And diabetes, it causes type 1 and type 2 diabetes as well as gestational diabetes. In case of respiratory disease, it causes asthma and bronchitis. Cancer, again, finally, whenever this microbiota is affected, It causes lot of cancers. Main to name a few: lung cancer, colorectal cancer is a common type, pancreatic cancer, and oral cancer. So we will see one by one how it. I told you, whenever the gut microbiome is affected, then it results in the production of short chain fatty acids and leads to the following types of heart diseases like atherosclerosis, hypertension, heart failure, atrial fibrillation, and myocardial fibrosis. Coming to liver disease, again it causes, whenever there is dysbiosis, it causes alcoholic liver disease, non-alcoholic liver disease, and sclerosis. Everything is caused due to the altered microbiome. Whenever there is a disturbance in the liver microbiome, it leads to condition called as steatosis, inflammation, and fibrosis. So the major role of gut microbiota in treating the liver disorders is, usually it is treated by prebiotics, probiotics, as well as antibiotics. Okay, so probiotics are like microorganism. Prebiotics are those foods which will promote the production of the or multiplication of the probiotics. So it is. We will also see towards the end of the talk how novel therapies are available nowadays, which will help us to and treat these conditions. Okay, so how you can use these therapy is by understanding how the gut microbiota plays an important role in these diseases, and also it also leads to kidney disorders, chronic kidney diseases, abbreviated as CKD. So because whenever there is disturbance in the kidney microbiota, it also causes chronic kidney diseases. So it will lead to impaired protein digestion. Okay, so whenever the protein digestion is impaired, what will happen? Undigested food will be, protein will be sent from the colon, it will be sent to the kidneys. Okay, so the what will happen is that whenever this undigested protein goes, actually promotes the proliferation of the bacteria with which will produce urease and uricase enzyme, and which will affect the metabolism of the proteins. Okay, so and also one class of bacteria called as saccharolytic bacteria, it will decrease the generation of chain fatty acids. So these short chain fatty acids are very very important maintaining the normal homeostasis of the body. So whenever it is reduced, it will lead to kidney disease and diabetes. Everywhere you see, short chain fatty acids plays a very important role. And in case of irritable bowel syndrome, or IBD, which is commonly called, as I told you in the beginning, it is actually two chronic diseases which will affect the intestinal tract, especially whenever this gut microbiome is altered. It causes two disease called the Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, and mainly it is due to the inflammation of the intestine. Okay, so when you say about the Crohn's disease, it will affect any part of the gastrointestinal tract, starting from your mouth up to the anus. It may be affected. So whenever there is disturbance or imbalance in the good bacteria, then it will lead to it. There will be increased risk of this irritable bowel syndrome. So we must be very careful when we choose the food, or if we find we are actually entering the stage, we have to take precautions not to damage the gastric lining or the stomach lining or the mucosal lining, not to damage it more and make the condition even more worse. Okay, so symptoms of IBD, it may be diarrhea, blood and mucus in the stool, fever, and also abdominal pain. So all these are major, symptoms which tells that something is wrong with your bowel. Then this also, I told you, this also causes, whenever there is a change in the gut microbiome, it leads to obesity as well as diabetes. So obesity, we know it is a major health problem, and it is estimated that 40 million children worldwide are obese. Okay, so because of wrong choice of food and also lack of physical activity, obesity is becoming very common nowadays. And also this also leads to obesity. As a result of obesity, it leads to type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and also sometimes of cancer. So whenever there is a disturbance in the duodenal microbiota, whenever there is a dysbiosis of the duodenal microbiota, especially in obese individuals, it will actually increase the harmful bacteria, proteobacteria, and it will decrease the beneficial bacteria belonging to the class Firmicutes. Okay, and this particular pseudomonadales increase in the obese people compared to the lean individuals. So, as I repeatedly I'm telling, gut microbiota is very, very important for the production of the short chain fatty acids. So, this short chain fatty acids are responsible for maintaining the good health and homeostasis. So, whenever there is a decrease in the product in this firmicutes, which is a beneficial bacteria, then short chain fatty acid production also decreases. Thereby, it will reduce the protection that is rendered to the intestine by this short chain fatty acids. It also, whenever this gut is affected, it also leads to respiratory disease, because I told you there are the different axes which connects the gut and the other parts. One important is gut lung axis. Like you have the gut brain axis, gut lung axis is also affected. Okay, so it is bidirectional and influences the lung ecology through ligands and metabolites that are involved in the development of lung diseases. Here also lactobacillus species is very, very important, because it has immunomodulatory ability. Whenever there are respiratory disease, there will be decrease in this. So whenever dysbiosis occurs in the gastrointestinal tract, which includes stomach and the intestine, it causes upset, and you cannot restore the normal this thing without any treatment. Okay, so now we are repeatedly telling you're disturbing the gut, and you're spoiling the microbiota, and the gut microbiota damaging this and that. So what exactly is the reason for your changes in the gut microbiome? So these are few reasons which have been suggested, which will affect the gut microbiome. One is dietary change. Which is very, very important, because when there is an increase in the intake of protein, sugar, or food additives, it disturbs the normal microbiome. Then accidental chemical consumption. Okay, you're not actually wantedly doing by mistake. For example, pesticides in an unwashed fruit. You are not aware. Now, everywhere you see pesticide, because pesticides and herbicides and weedicides are not judiciously used. And we see whatever vegetable or whatever fruit you take, it is definitely infested with it is full of pesticide. Okay, so repeated consumption of that also affects the gut microbiome. And drinking two or more alcoholic beverages also affects. Then you're taking some new medications. I'm not sure whether you're observed, whenever you're prescribed with an antibiotic for some infection, your doctor usually prescribes and another medicine which will help to protect your gut health. Like for example, B complex tablets are given, and sometimes probiotics are also given, so that if this antibiotic is going to kill your beneficial microorganisms, these supplements will help to restore their health. Okay, and also poor dental hygiene. See, we will never imagine that all these will cause you will affect your gut microbiome, because oral microbiome, I told you, next to gut, oral microbiome is very, very important, because it has a lot of beneficial organisms. So when there is a poor dental hygiene, then it will allow bacteria to grow out of balance in your mouth. That is, harmful bacteria will grow, and it will suppress the growth of beneficial bacteria. And last but not, it is not the least, and which cannot be ignored, high levels of stress or anxiety. Again, we saw whenever the bacteria genera changes, it is affecting your mood, it causes stress, it causes happiness, it causes stress, anxiety. Everything is by controlled by these microbes. Okay, so whenever there's high level of stress or anxiety, it will actually kill the normal bacteria and with the harmful bacteria will grow more in numbers, then automatically your immune system will be weakened. Okay, so these are some of the reasons which will affect your normal microbiome. So what will actually, how will it be manifested actually? Stomach upset, then food intolerance, I told you, no, intolerance like vomiting or allergic to say that, and GERD, as I told you, that is also one of the symptoms. And sugar cravings, so this shows that your health is, your gut is unhealthy. Always there will be craving to eat sugary items. Okay, unexplained weight changes, it may be obesity, mostly it leads to obesity. Then fatigue, that is again one more this thing. Then autoimmune conditions. See, so these are all signs of what to say, unhealthy gut. So again, whenever this again shows you, whenever there is a healthy gut, there will be a balanced composition of the microbes that are present within the body, and you have a good immunity and immune system. So whenever pathogens are going inside also, because you have a very good what to say, microbial composition, you're able to tolerate it and they are not affected. But in case you are having an unhealthy gut and antibiotic is prescribed, okay, so what will happen, your normal microbiota will be disturbed because you're using the antibiotic. So it causes what is called as dysbiosis, and thereby it will again affect your immune system. So what will happen, antibiotics will destroy your healthy microbiome, and it will in order to kill the pathogens, it will destroy your normal healthy microbiome also. So dysbiosis it results in dysbiosis, and it causes inflammation. These are some of the changes: increased pathogenic bacteria, loss of phage diversity, and increased prophage induction. All these causes inflammation, and finally, it will lead to infection. So here again, what happens whenever there is modification of the oral microbiome, everything will be affected. We will see shortly. There is a therapy. I told you this microbiota is itself used, though it causes so many what is diseases. Whenever it is affected, it also used to correct those diseases. It is possible for us to correct those conditions using this microbe. That fecal microbiota transplantation is one very successful therapy used nowadays. And apart from that, diet and nutritional therapy, so very balanced diet, Mediterranean diet, which is simple carbohydrates, and when there is a correction of vitamin A deficiency, all these will help to restore it. And also some drugs, again they will help to restore your normal microbiota. So this is what I was telling, microbiota in disease treatment. So it helps, so they can be used, not only their reason for causing disease, they can be used to correct the disorders. So diet, just now I discussed, diet, prebiotics and postbiotics can be used to correct the disorder. Probiotics can be prescribed by the doctors. And you have this fecal microbiota transplantation, which I will just throw a light on what is actually done. And you have a very interesting called as phage therapy, also commonly used, engineered bacteria and live biotherapeutic products. All these are commonly used for the treatment of disease. They not only cause a disease, but they can also be used to treat the disease. So probiotics and prebiotics. So these are this side shows, or left side shows, probiotics like yogurt, kimchi, kefir, and cheese. All these are probiotics which will help your microorganism to beneficial organism to grow happily. And probiotics, they are sources of these organisms, which includes onions, tomatoes, asparagus, banana, etc. All these, both probiotics and prebiotics, will help to maintain your gut health. Then the other type of therapy, which is called as the phage therapy, it is actually again, it is one of alternative method to restore your microbiota in case where the other types of treatments are not effective. Okay, so because it will actually cause immunomodulatory changes and bactericidal effects against the target bacteria. So phages can be considered as a therapeutic tool whenever against the pathogenic gastroenterologist. Whenever the other types of treatment fails, these phages can be used to control the spread of this pathogenic gastrointestinal bacteria. Then other classes, live biotherapeutic products, as I told you, probiotics, bacterial vaccines are actually used, and fecal microbiota transplantation. So this is again a very very interesting and a new method of treating the people who are affected, especially with the gastrointestinal tract complications, like whatever we have been seeing, like IBD, then even gastric carcinoma, everything. What they have done is that, what is done is that fecal transplantation. So you collect the feces, also called as the stool or the poop, from a healthy donor and introduce them into the patient's GI tract. That patient's GI tract is already damaged and all the beneficial organisms are lost. So you take from a healthy individual, you can isolate, feces is collected, microbes are isolated and transplanted to the patient's gastrointestinal tract. Okay, so it can control the infections of, mainly it is caused by the Clostridium difficile infection. Okay, the gut health is affected mainly due to this type of this bacterial infection. So you can add healthy bacteria into the recipient's intestine by doing this FMT or fecal microbiota transplantation. So it is done both in children and adult. So whenever the colon is affected, fecal transplantation is done, and it can be used. So this picture again shows, depicts how it is done. So you take bacteria from instead removing the fecal material from a healthy donor, helpful microbes are isolated. So this unhealthy gut, I told you, it is caused by Clostridium diffibacterium. So the remove the, so it is mainly caused by that. So take helpful microbes, useful microbes from healthy gut and then transplant it. It is able to restore the gut condition. So though there are other lot of links between the gut and the brain and gut and the lung, gut brain axis is very very important. As I told in the beginning, actually the gut is called as a second brain because it is directly linked to the central nervous system. So there is communication between the gut and the brain. So it is called as a gut brain axis is very very important, and there is always communication taking place between these two, and gut hormones plays a very important role in controlling the nervous system and the brain. Okay, so they have found out that it controls the neurons and motility by using neurotransmitters and hormones. Okay, so whenever that gut brain axis is affected, diseases like schizophrenia, autism, etc. have been found to be affected. So you would have heard of this disorder called as autism spectrum disorder. Here also it is, and we have been thinking that it is mainly due to the something to do with the neuronal changes, but now it has been found out that mainly microbes that are present in the gut that influences this. So healthy microbiota children can have all these type of bacteria, whereas children who suffer from this autism spectrum disorder, they have these bacteria which are harmful, and they have lower abundance of this beneficial microorganism, bifidobacterium and coprococcus. So it's that difference they were able to observe. Similarly, depressive disorder also, neuropsychiatric diseases are also caused by gut dysbiosis. So they have done studies and transplanted gut microbiota from a depressed mice to a germ-free mice, and they were able to see depressive behavior in that. So gut-brain axis malfunction will actually or is responsible for causing all these diseases. Then Alzheimer's disease also is caused by due to the disturbance in the gut-brain axis. So Alzheimer's disease. It is mainly caused due to the defect in the beta. It causes accumulation of amyloid plaques, and that is only responsible for it, and that also is associated with the gut microbiota. So nowadays, so main reason they have actually found out is that urbanization and westernization of the lifestyle is responsible, and that is responsible for what is called as a missing microbe hypothesis. They have postulated, and they have found that industrialization and current medical practices like vaccination, all have caused. I think somebody's mic is unmute. Please mute your mic. Okay, thank you. So, industrialization and vaccination have affected the normal microbiome. So, whenever there is reduced microbial diversity, it leads to all this. So, changes again, changes in your lifestyle, urban lifestyle, it causes all these diseases. So modernization has affected all our normal health. So in one group of individuals called as Anomami, individuals they are living in the Amazon jungle in Venezuela, they found out that they have a very diverse gut microbial biota. Okay, when they compared it with the people living in the United States, these people were very healthy and they had a maintained ancestral lifestyle and they were not affected by any disease, whereas Americans were affected because mainly due to the diet practices what these tribes were following. Similarly, in China also they conducted a study and they found that there difference in the urban and the rural population. So urbanization has led to virulence and antibiotic resistance. Even in Thailand, again they conducted a study where people living in urban Bangkok whose diet was mainly consist of high sugar, fat, and protein, they were more affected than the people they are living in the rural areas. And they found that there are less beneficial organism and low level of short chain fatty acids. Coming to the Indian scenario, again a plant-based ancient Indian diet increases the diversity. So all these is good. Traditional cuisine have which is rich in fruits and vegetables will definitely give a good health, and also probiotic rich yogurt, lentils, and fermented foods help have a, good flourishing microbiome. So it is better we opt for whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, and lentils, and then fiber packed meals will help in easy digestion and help to keep your gut health better. And now there is actually a program also going on called as microbial restoration, where we have already spoiled the gut health and now we are trying to restore it by nutrition and diet. And they found out whenever it is rich in protein, for example from beef, actually it reduces the abundance of beneficial microorganism, whereas proteins from whey and peas increases the content of bifidobacterium and lactobacillus, and that in turn improves the short chain fatty acids, and that will improve the gut health. So all these changes in our dietary habits and including the probiotics, so probiotics plus prebiotics are called as symbiotics. So taking a diet which is rich in probiotics as well as prebiotics. I told you probiotics are live microorganism, prebiotics are substrates which will be used by these microorganism, which will aid in the multiplication of the microorganism, which help in the production of all these. So increase in these all the short chain fatty acids and this, whereas decrease in this interleukins and other pathogens. So microbial restoration mainly they are actually doing these two methods. One is by vaginal seeding, that is 1 hour 1 hour before C-section they are seeded, and the neonate will be also swabbed with this soon after the birth when it is a C-section birth delivery. Similarly, FMT is very, very commonly used in practice. They are using this, taking the from the isolating beneficial organism from the feces of the healthy patient and transplanting. So we should see that our diet will be a mixture of these all the three, that is prebiotics, probiotics, both together is called as a symbiotic. So it will help in maintaining the good health conditions, and also fermented foods, naturally fermented foods will be used as a starter culture, and it will be rich in beneficial organism. And another project which is going on is called as a Microbiota Vault project, where like you have your blood bank and other what to say stem cell bank, etc. Here also they are trying to store long term storage of microbiomes. They are trying to do, and that is one project which is actually going on. So to conclude, our gut normally possesses lot of millions and trillions of microbes that will have which are responsible for having a complex microbial community. So as long as we don't disturb them and try to maintain it, it helps in it interacts with almost all the organs of the body, and connecting, as we saw, gut lung axis, gut brain axis, and so on. So it will help to maintain healthy body. And also this gut microbiota axis is responsible for all the actions, interactions, as we discussed, whether it is neural, endocrinal, humoral, or immunological and metabolic pathways, whatever may be the pathways, it is directly connected to the gut, and that's why we say gut is very important and call it as a second brain also. So with this, I will finish my talk, and any queries you can contact. And as I told you, my research work is on cancer biology, but now we have started working on these some work on the gastric microbiome, and how by what to say, intervening treatment strategies with natural products, whether we will be able to restore the normal gastric mucus or whatever is affecting. Some work we have been doing, and some work on also on the fermented food products, by analyzing what are the normal microbes, microbial composition. By doing metagenome analysis, we are actually trying to do some with normal fermented foods which we commonly consume. Uh, so that is it. I'm ready to answer any questions.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am, I just want to know that nowadays we are hearing that due to COVID shield, the people are
mm,
dying of heart attack. Is it
yes.
related, ma'am?
Uh, I'm not, and there is no, strong scientific evidence. That's what one reason. One of my slide, I told you that it may be it actually causes some changes. Vaccination causes some changes in your immunological response, and
Mm,
each person responds in a different way. Maybe
mm,
one of the reasons also, because you see this gut microbiome, when it is affected, I told you it leads to lot of cardiac heart. Diseases. So maybe it varies from individual to individual. We have been recently hearing of lot of these conditions where, and I'm not sure where we cannot be, unless it is scientifically proved, we cannot just say it is because of this Covishield. It's not that previously people were not dying of heart attack, right? There may be
mm.
other reasons also, some other reasons also may be there, but now it is a double-edged sword, whether to blame it or not to blame it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, I can see somebody raise your hand. Go ahead, ma'am. Vijay Surya Vanshi has raised the hand. How genetics and epigenetics affect role in gut microbiome relation to other organ? Yeah, that is again a very what to say, vast topic to discuss, and it is also in the nascent stage. To throw light upon, definitely there are, they have observed that whoever is wherever there is, when they help compared healthy individuals with the affected individuals, some alteration in their what to say, genetic makeup, they are able to observe, but that is again a very very nascent stage of research that is still going. We cannot actually just pinpoint and say it may be this is the exact reason how epigenetics is affecting. Like we have some idea about how it is causing heart disease, lung disease, respiratory disease. This is still in the nascent stage. Hope I was clear and not too fast, and I was also not too technical because I was not sure about the audience background. I didn't want to go too much into the biochemistry or genetics part of it.
Dear participants, if you have any queries, means kindly share with ma'am. Okay, ma'am, it's a good session, ma'am. I shall go with a word of thanks. Good evening
Thank
to
you.
one and all. It's my privilege to propose a word of thanks on this occasion. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues but the parent of all others. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words but to live by them. I would like to extend a word of thanks to all of our presenters, organizers, and attendees for making this webinar a great success. Your contributions and participation have made this event successful. I would like to thank our presenter for sharing their knowledge and expertise with us today, Dr. S. Sumathi ma'am, for not only sparing their invaluable time for us to grace the occasion, but also for enlightening us with their commendable talk on the subject. Your participation and engagement have made this a truly interactive and collaborative experience. Winning an award is always an achievement. My hearty congratulations for your incredible success, rewards, and achievements, dear Sumadhi ma'am. It's actually a very wonderful session to us. Finally, I would like to thank all the participants. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Rekha
Thank you,
ma'am,
Rekha ma'am,
and all the
and all the
participants.
participants.
Any
Any
queries?
queries?
I've just
I've
shared
just
my
shared
mail
my
ID
mail
also.
ID also.
You can
You
mail
can
me.
mail me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It is
It is
Women
Women
University.
University.
I think
I
Rekha
think
ma'am,
Rekha
you
ma'am, you
can
can
should
should
mute your
mute
mic.
your mic. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, it is Women University. So we have school also inside, starting from a daycare center up to PhD. It's really wonderful to have uh, only women students and only women faculty. Yes, Vijay, sir. I'm not sure. Vijay has raised your hand, but okay. If there are no more questions, then Rekha ma'am, shall I leave?
That Dev sir asked one question, ma'am, how microbes level change genetic composition?
That's the
That's
same
the
thing.
same thing.
What
What
I told you,
I
how
told
it
you.
is
How it is
changing is
changing.
as actually not actually changing the genetic composition. It is actually changing the microbial flora that is present. That in turn will influence the other what to say metabolic functions of the body, that which is again controlled by the genes. So directly, it is not changing the genetic composition. It is affected. I mean, it is actually affecting the other metabolic process, which in turn is affected by the influenced by the genes which are controlling them.
Dear participants, if you have queries, means kindly share with ma'am. We are
Yes,
in the end of program.
definitely. Yeah, is the relationship between gut cancer and microbiota? Yes, yes, definitely it is there. That's what I told you. No, the Helicobacter pylori is one of the reason which is causing this gastric cancer. So there is a lot of studies that have been done showing the influence of gut microbiome that is affected when there is a comparison between. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable time, ma'am.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am. Thank
Lakshmi.
you, ma'am.